click the bell button, click the like button, subscribe, and then in another video we'll talk about the scams you can encounter there. Bye. Why it's so hot. Oh my gosh, I'm sweating so much. So yeah, the important thing is to ask the locals all the time the prices, to understand more or less how much it is, something like the taxi, whatever, and then you can think by yourself it's worth it or not. So for example, in my case, I asked a few times about a haircut, how much it will be a haircut. So I figured out that in Egypt, more or less for everyone in the big cities, it's between 2 and 4 euros. So when I went to a hairdresser and he told me 10 euros, I was like, what? Okay, then I went to another one, to another one, to another one, to another. Finally, almost everyone asked me between 8 and 10 euros. So finally, I said no, and then I found at 11:30 p.m., so at night, I found one which was eating and he charged me 4 euros. The maximum of the amount usually Egyptians pay use a car sharing app. They have at least 3 or 4 in the country, but the top 3 are Uber, which is the most known worldwide, Careem, which I know that is used only in some Middle East and Arab countries, and the third is InDrive. InDrive, I just figured out about this app once I was in Cairo because one Italian girl was using this app in Pakistan or Nepal, I don't remember. But what I wanted to tell you is that Uber is the most expensive. Let's say if you have to pay €2.50 with Uber is €3. So it's not super mega expensive, but it's more expensive. And if you want to spend that difference of money, it will be okay, because with Uber, every time I book with Uber, I didn't have to wait too long for the taxi driver to accept. Instead, with Careem or InDrive, you will stay much longer. Like for example, I even stayed 30 minutes once. So whatever. And be careful. I wanted to tell you about a scam, but I will do another video about this. So now I will just focus on those tips. Tip is to be patient. I know maybe you will think I am already or I'm not, or whatever, but really there, if you're not patient, which I'm not, for example. But of course, when you go in a country like this and then you already know that some stuff, it will happen, whatever, you already try to, to put your limit higher, but still it was too much. Like for example, the day I went to the pyramids inside, I mean not inside in the pyramids, but when you pay the ticket to go inside to stay next to the pyramids, I was so angry that after 2-3 hours I went back home, to the hotel, and I didn't want to go out anymore. As I said, I will tell you more about those scams in another video. Tip is that if you want to buy any kind of alcohol, like beer, wine, or whatever, there are like some special shops that are named Drinkies. At least in Hurghada, Cairo, and Luxor, they were there. Not so many, but they were there. I would suggest you to buy maybe just beer, because I tried vodka and the smell, it was so bad that only when I opened the bottle and I smell, like, oh my gosh, it was so disgusting. It was so disgusting. I was, what is this? Like, in my life, I know the difference between some expensive vodkas, cheap, and the same with beer, wine, and so on. But that vodka, it was so bad. Oh my gosh, I had to throw it. Like, I throw the whole bottle. So I bought some local beers that, to be honest, they are very strong, like 7, 8, and 10 and 12, I think, degrees of alcohol. So they are quite strong. I don't know how come in Egypt, but yeah. They were not good, of course, but they were drinkable. So that's good. And one beer, it was like €1.70. The bottle of vodka, it was like €8. So I throw €8. Don't trust everyone with a bet. This doesn't mean don't trust anyone. Don't trust everyone. So of course there are many people working for the government, for as security, I don't know, with a badge. But for example, if you go to the pyramids, you will see people with some badges here. Sometimes they even hide the badge like between the two buttons of the shirt, and they are trying to tell you, you cannot take a selfie here, you have to go there, or you cannot touch this, but you can go to touch that there, I don't know what. And then of course they wanted to charge you. but there are people who are doing illegal things because, of course, they are not working properly with a legitimate badge and so on. Wait, I see this truck driver. Man, go there, go there. Okay. So the tip, if you see, there are some hotels that are super ultra cheap, like not just cheap because they are cheap compared to almost every country, but if it's too cheap and too luxurious, maybe they will not exist. So just try to book hotels with free cancellation, not just for 1-2 days before you arrive, but until, like, they on booking it says, for example, free cancellation forever. So until you get at that hotel and you see with your eyes how it is the hotel, that it exists, that is how it's in the picture and so on, until then you don't have to pay. And then if it's not like you want it, you can cancel it for free. That is the proper way to book that. Tip, buy a scarf, like those, Arabs scarf, because they are very useful. Not only if you go to do a safari or with the quad in the desert or with camels or whatever, because of course, if not, all the sand will come in your mouth, nose, and so on. But besides this, also you can use it as a pillow when you are traveling around the country with the bus, or like when you are sweating, you can just wipe your sweat with that from your face and so on. Tip, I think, very, very important. Don't be intimidated from Egyptians, like those one at the pyramids, that they want to you think that they are legitimate. But at the same time, don't be aggressive when you're talking with some of them, because you are in a country that is not normal, no? Like, oh, my rights, and no. So maybe it's better to just talk normally and don't get too angry and don't talk too aggressive. Also, because many times in this case, like in those countries, they can charge you for everything. It's not that you have to trust me, you can just check online and you'll see. People don't take pictures, videos, and so on of police, soldiers, and so on, or institutional buildings and so on, because it's not legal for what I read. So it's better, to just skip this part, let's say, in this trip and go on. Do your researches before to buy anything. Like, even, I don't know, like you buy a scarf, ask how much it will be a scarf, how much it will be this souvenir, how much, because maybe you think, it's okay, if for a local it's €5 and they will charge me 6, 7, it's okay. No, because many times maybe that thing that you pay €5 for a local, not for the guy who is selling, but for a local, maybe it's 50 cents. You're paying 10 times the price. Look, just I wanted to give you an example. Even an shisha, nargilya, I figured out that for locals it can be 10 or 20 cents of euro, and they wanted to charge me the first time €8, which it means that in the worst case it was 80 times more. 80 times more. Of course, you're gonna say €8 is still okay compared to many other countries, but €8 there. Maybe, I don't know, I went to a shop, they wanted to charge me €50 for some stuff I bought, and until I got to €10, and the taxi driver told me that for a local that it will be €5-6, which still I was happy for that. But if I will pay €50 and it was €5-6 for a local, it will be really bad. In this case, I would like to tell you that if you go to swim, for example, to Hurghada, and they will tell you, don't worry, everything is safe, everything is okay, don't trust them, because I did like a tour, a boat, with few things included, like buffet for drinks and food. I mean, not alcoholic drinks, but 2 stops for snorkeling and 1 stop to an island. Very expensive. The name of the island, it was Orange Island, and maybe a cappuccino, it was €6. Of course, I didn't buy it, but something €6 or €7. In this tip, I wanted to tell you that when I stopped the first time to snorkel, the guide said, our group, it will call Mafia. So he, every 2 seconds, was saying, Mafia, Mafia, right, Mafia, Mafia, left, Mafia, Mafia, faster, Mafia, Mafia. So I was, oh my gosh, I was not enjoying at all. So finally, I was coughing at one point. One guy from my back, he took my arm like this, and I was, hey, what are you doing? Because of course I was coughing, and with one hand I was busy, and he was taking the other hand, so he got angry. And finally, on the boat, he said, oh, are you sad? I'm responsible for all of you, So if something will happen, I have to, take care of the people and so on, and blah blah blah, even more. Whatever. At one point he said, if some sharks will come, and I said, what? Sharks? And he said, yeah, and even now more because they are doing babies, and even more if there are some, like among the tourists here, some woman with the period, even worse because they are smelling the blood and blah blah blah. And last year they attacked one Russian guy on the shore and he died. It was, what? And I said, so how you can be sure that now sharks will attack us because we are not even on the shore? And he said, by luck. I was, what? And finally, I didn't enter anymore for the second stop of snorkel. So I just wait until we were on the island, and there, I just stay a bit on the beach because it was like the beach, and for at least maybe 300 meters, it was only maybe half meter or 1 meter of water. So I was okay, and it was very clear. So if some sharks will come, it will attack other people before to come to me. So it was okay. So the thing is, I double checked what he said, which is true. Last year they attacked a Russian guy and he died. And 2 years before they attacked one Romanian woman and one Austrian woman, and also they died. The tip, many times when you go to the toilet, they will ask you for some money, for some tip, but actually you don't have to. Like every toilet I have been, it says like on a board or something, don't give tips, but they will still try to ask you for tips. So just in case you don't want to give it, don't give it. But if you want, of course, it's up to you. And the tip, the last one is don't bring a drone. That's